Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Movesets video. Today's video is going to be all about Ninjask, so let's get started by taking a look at this Pokemon's typing, abilities, and stats. So to start things off, Ninjask is a bug-flying type Pokemon introduced into Generation 3 that possesses two abilities, the first of which being Speed Boost, which is an ability that increases this Pokemon's speed stat at the end of every turn that it has been in the battle for the full duration of the turn. So this would not count a turn where you switch Ninjask into battle, but rather a turn where it starts on the battlefield and stays there by the end of the turn. And finally, for its last ability, which is this Pokemon's hidden ability, it is known as Infiltrator, which allows this Pokemon to bypass the effects of Substitute and Light Screen and Reflect and Safeguard, among other things. As for its stats though, this Pokemon is very frail with base 61 HP, 45 defense, and 50 special defense, meaning that it is not really going to be able to take hits that well. However, being a Pokemon that is immune to ground type attacks and also quad resisting fighting type attacks does help it out quite a bit. Offensively though, this Pokemon is almost always 100% of the time going to be seen as a physical attacker because it has a base 90 physical attack or it only has a base 50 special attack. And lastly, the most notable stat about Ninjask is its base 160 speed stat, which makes this Pokemon ridiculously fast and pretty much able to outspeed almost everything in the game, and it even outspeeds with max speed investment up to Pokemon that are scarfed with a base 90 speed stat. Now, one of the main reasons why I wanted to make this video is because due to the recent Baton Pass ban, Ninjask's usefulness has significantly dropped, as it was typically seen as a baton passer that passed speed boosts and sports dance boosts to its teammates. But because we can't do that anymore, we have to be a little bit more creative when we use Ninjask, so with that, let's take a look at the first moveset that I have for you in this video. So for this first moveset, I'm going to be showing off how effective Ninjask can be as a support Pokemon on Sun teams. So we're going to start this one off by giving it a Jolly Nature to increase its speed stat but lower its special attack and going with the Infiltrator ability. As for the EVs, we're going to put 248 into its HP stat to give it its highest odd numbered HP stat, allowing it to switch into Stealth Rocks twice, 8 into its physical attack, and then 252 EVs into its speed stat to still give it its maximum speed stat, allowing it to pretty much outspeed everything. But for the moves, being a support Pokemon for a Sun team, the first one that we're going to go with is going to be Sunny Day as a way for this Pokemon to set up Sun on the battlefield, and we're going to do this in combination with the Heat Rock item to allow us to set up Sun for a total of 8 turns. Now, because of this Pokemon being so fast, it allows it to do this more effectively than most other support Sun Pokemon, which is pretty much allowing it to be on par with Prankster users, but it's doing this by being faster than them, thus giving it a little bit more utility in what it can do after it's set up the Sun, because it will most likely outspeed your opponent after the fact as well. But to allow this to be even more effective, the next two moves are pretty much designed to allow Ninjask to get out of battle as soon as it sets up the Sun. The first option being Final Gambit, which will allow this Pokemon to sacrifice itself at the cost of dealing the amount of HP that it has to its opponent in terms of damage. Now, this is also really effective because it allows Ninjask the opportunity to suicide to then bring in something else, but it does so in a way that could potentially allow Ninjask to take out something on your opponent's team that would prove to be a big threat to a Sun-based team. And this gives it a ton of support. But the other way that we're also going to get in and out of battle is through the use of U-turn, which will obviously allow us the opportunity to hit something and then switch out very quickly into a Pokemon on your own team to then take advantage of the Sun. As for the last move slot though, we're going to give this Pokemon some additional utility by running either Aerial Ace to give it a flying type attack to make use of, or Roost as a way to allow it to recover HP, which can then be very useful in allowing this Pokemon to regain health to then switch in potentially another time to Stealth Rock, or bring you back into a range to allow for maximum effectiveness of Final Gambit. But either way, this Pokemon can be very good on a Sun team because of its great speed stat and utility that comes with it. Up next, I have a more offensive set for Ninjask to run that got a little bit better this generation due to the introduction of the Leech Life TM. So we're going to start this one off by giving this Pokemon a Jolly Nature to increase its speed stat but lower its special attack just like before, and for the ability either going with Speed Boost or Infiltrator, as both do have their uses on this set. But for the EVs, we're going to put 252 into this Pokemon's physical attack to max that out, 4 into its defense stat, and then 252 EVs into its speed stat to max that out as well. And for the moves, just going fully offensive on this set, because we're going to be using Ninjask with the item A Choice Band to increase its physical attack power considerably. So with this, we're going to first make use of Leech Life to be our main stab bug type attack. And this is going to be incredibly useful for Ninjask as of this generation because of how it allows this Pokemon to not only regain health, but also still do the same amount of damage as X-Scissor previously did in the last generation, thus basically giving Ninjask an additional opportunity to switch into the Stealth Rock that it is weak to potentially throughout the battle, or just allow it to be more difficult to take down by your opponent, since you're going to be regaining health with the Stab Bug move. But in addition to this, we're going to be running Aerial Ace as a secondary attack coverage option, working off of our flying type stab, and then going with Night Slash as well for an additional coverage option of the dark type variety that also has an increased chance to crit our opponents, which can be very useful. But finally, for the last move on the set, and the move that you're more than likely going to be going for more often than the others, is U-turn to allow us to hit something really hard and switch out simultaneously, which is very good for allowing this Pokemon to just get chip damage off on its opponents. But overall, through the use of the Choice Band and the introduction of the Leech Life TM, this set has become even better than it previously was last generation. But finally, for the last moveset of this video, I'm going to be showing off a very effective double boosting set for this Pokemon to run that is even more effective this generation than it previously has been as a result of the boost in power to Leech Life and the use of Z moves. So we're going to start this one off by giving it an Adamant Nature to increase its physical attack but lower its special attack, or a Jolly Nature to increase its speed but lower its special attack, and then this time going 100% with the speed boost ability to give us that +1 speed boost at the end of every turn to make this Pokemon significantly faster than it already is. As to the EVs, we're going to put 252 into its physical attack, 4 into its defense, and 252 EVs into its speed to, again like before, give it its maximum physical attack and speed possible. But for the moves on the set, the first one that we're going to go with is going to be Swords Dance to allow this Pokemon to boost its physical attack by 2 stages, making it considerably more powerful. And along with this, we're going to be making use again of Leech Life to allow this Pokemon to have a reliable bug type move to use, as well as a move that will be recovering health when we go for it. And this in and of itself just makes this set significantly better than it previously has been. But again, we're going to be going with Aerial Ace for that flying type stab coverage, and for the last move on the set, going with Dig, which is a move that this Pokemon only learns as its pre-evolution, so please make sure to not evolve it until that has happened. But making use of Dig in combination with Ground EMZ is going to give Ninjask an incredibly powerful ground type move to make use of that it typically did not have access to, thus allowing this Pokemon a significantly better time dealing with opposing steel types that have given this Pokemon trouble since its introduction. So Ground EMZ with Dig will give this Pokemon excellent type coverage, and thus make it even easier for this Pokemon to sweep with its boosted physical attack and speed stats. But that is it for this video, everybody, so thank you all for watching this video on Ninjask, and I hope you can see how this Pokemon is still useful even with the ban of Baton Pass. But as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.